Welcome to This Explainer, where we're going to completely shatter your paradigm of one of the most globally recognized brands on the planet. Seriously, strap in, because we're about to flip everything you thought you knew totally upside down. Let's dive right into this.
Picture this. You're driving down the street at night, and you see those iconic golden arches glowing in the distance. Naturally, you think you're looking at a burger joint, right? A place that simply builds restaurants, hires a crew, and flips patties for a profit. Well, you're not. You are actually looking at a $42 billion real estate empire in disguise.
The delicious food you see here, the towering Big Mac, the perfectly salted fries, the bubbling, ice-cold Coke, that is exactly what they want you to focus on. But honestly, the fries are just a distraction. The real money, the actual billions, is hiding in the dirt right beneath every single restaurant. I promise you, by the end of this explainer, you will literally never look at a McDonald's the same way again.
Okay, so to really understand this secret, we have to look at how most people think McDonald's works, and we have to grasp the sheer, mind-boggling scale of it all. As of 2025, there are over 45,000 McDonald's locations globally, spread across more than 100 countries. Every single day, they serve an astonishing 70 million customers. Just to put that into perspective, that is more people than the entire population of France grabbing a meal every single day. Naturally, you'd assume the McDonald's Corporation is running all of these kitchens themselves, but that assumption is completely wrong.
Here is the real kicker. Look at that tiny little 5% slice on the chart. Corporate actually operates incredibly few of its own restaurants. That massive 95% chunk? Those are independent business owners, franchisees who are putting up their own hard-earned money to license the brand. Now, in a standard franchise model, a corporation just collects a small royalty fee for letting someone use their name. Simple enough. But McDonald's is absolutely not a standard corporation. If they only relied on selling burgers and collecting small percentage fees, they would have gone totally bust decades ago.
Part 1, The Secret Revealed.
Let's rewind a bit. In the early days, franchise founder Ray Kroc was actually really struggling just to keep the lights on. The margins on food were way too thin. He desperately needed a way to make the business indestructible. And then, in 1956, everything changed. He met a financial advisor named Harry Sonneborn. Sonneborn took one look at the failing food books and delivered this brutal but absolute genius advice. He said, "You are not in the food business, you are in the real estate business." Simple, brutal, genius. Part 2, The Real Estate Trap.
So, Sonneborn's big idea was essentially this: don't just be the franchisor, be the franchisee's landlord. Here's how the trap, actually scratch that, let's call it the business model, actually works in practice. First, corporate swoops in, finds a perfect piece of land, and either buys it outright or signs a massive long-term master lease. They control the location. Second, a franchisee comes along and pays an initial fee of $45,000 just to get started. Third, on top of that, they pay a monthly royalty of about 4% of their sales. But the fourth step, this is the absolute masterstroke. The franchisee also pays McDonald's rent. We're talking around 10 to 12% of their gross sales every single month. Because McDonald's owns the building and the land, the franchisee is literally paying their boss for the right to stand in their own kitchen. Corporate is double dipping, collecting from both sides, every single month, rain or shine.
Part 3, The Unbeatable Math.
This real estate layer makes McDonald's essentially bulletproof. Think about your average restaurant chain on the left there. They take all the food risk. If people suddenly decide they don't want to buy the food, the owner goes bankrupt and loses everything. Now look at the McDonald's model on the right. If a franchisee fails, corporate is perfectly fine. Why? Because they still own that prime corner lot. They simply kick out the failing tenant and bring in a brand new one. The building stays, the land stays, and the rent just keeps rolling in. It's honestly the ultimate safety net. Let's actually look at the hard data from their 2025 annual report to prove this. Total revenue hit a whopping $26.9 billion. And a massive portion of that is not from selling Happy Meals, it's straight from rental payments and franchise fees. McDonald's owns 70% of all its restaurant buildings and about 45% of the underlying land. Their total assets are sitting at nearly $60 billion. Let that sink in. Most of that value isn't tied up in secret sauce recipes or brand logos. It is securely locked into real estate that appreciates every single year, making them one of the absolute largest private landowners on Earth.
Now, think about the food itself for a second. Items like the snack wrap or the McRib. They disappear for months, they come back with huge hype, and they disappear again. Do you think McDonald's corporate panics about these food trends? They don't care. The rent check is still due on the first of the month whether the McRib is on the menu or not. They are sitting on a multi-decade property appreciation story. You see, most companies build products to survive. McDonald's built a trap, and 45,000 franchisees walked right into it, completely willingly.
Part 4. The ultimate lesson.
So, what is the real lesson here? It all comes down to a genius three-legged system that completely separates them from all their competitors. Think about it. They use the burger to build a brand. They use that brand to attract tenants. And then they use the tenants to pay for a global empire of land. Competitors like Subway actually have more locations, and Burger King has been around just as long. But neither of them built this underlying real estate layer. And that, right there, is exactly why McDonald's is worth over $200 billion, while most of their competitors are just fighting to survive. So the next time you see those golden arches glowing at night, don't think about the food. Look at the building. Look at the land beneath it. You are literally looking at 70 years of the smartest corporate strategy in history.
You know, Ray Kroc once flat out admitted his real business was real estate. And decades later, the numbers absolutely prove he was telling the truth. They didn't win because they made the best burger. They won because they owned the best land. Which really begs the question, if this is the secret to McDonald's billions, what other massive empires are hiding their true business models right under our noses? Well, if this changed how you see McDonald's, just wait until you see what happened to Nokia in our next explainer. You definitely won't want to miss it.